Hello, and welcome to the Alternate Point of View. My name is Tracy Lee. So, today is President's Day. You'll probably be seeing this on Tuesday as I am going to post this later on this evening, probably in the wee hours of the morning. So, I just want to say happy President's Day. I know most of us are celebrating this day because this is a day that we celebrate for past presidents for the most part, whether we like them or not. This is a day that we should be celebrating because we love America. This is not Trump Day, just so everyone knows that. This is not a day that we are basically celebrating the sitting president, but a lot of America is thinking this is Trump Day. A lot of people in America are protesting the president that is here now. And they are calling it Not My President Day, which is kind of strange, but it is their right. Our First Amendment does protect our right to free speech and our right to peacefully assemble, which is what a lot of people are doing today, which is going around in many cities in the country, and they are protesting President Trump, and they're also protesting Elon Musk, which is completely their right. And they are protesting the fact that President Trump appointed Elon Musk to be in charge of Doge. And we are well aware that Trump ran on that he was going to appoint Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to be in charge of Doge, which is the Department of Government Efficiency. And a lot of people are upset about Doge. They are upset that Elon Musk has gone in and basically wiped out a lot of departments that were wastefully spending our taxpayer dollars. It's rather ironic, though, that a lot of people are upset that he is finding a lot of wasteful spending, but they're not upset about that wasteful spending. They're not upset that money has been being funneled through our government to places that it shouldn't be spent. And it is baffling to me that they're not upset about that, that our country isn't more upset about where the money has been going. I understand people are upset about job losses. I understand people are upset about federal agencies being shut down. Uh, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of times, as Musk said, you have to cut the head off at the snake. You have to kill the weed at the root. You can't just pull the weed out. You have to wipe out everything in order to get to the root of the problem. And if you just take a few of the weeds out, you're not going to eliminate the issue because the entire department is damaged, all of it. So if you don't clean it up and possibly replace the whole thing or eliminate the whole thing, then you won't uh, figure out where all of this money has been going. You won't know if this is a bad seed or if we need to create a new department. So they're not looking at the bigger picture. Instead, they're looking at the moment. Also, with the federal employees that Trump offered the buyout on, people are like kicking and screaming and whining and moaning. The work from home people, they're all like, how dare you offer me a buyout? I recall back in the day, both of my parents worked for the federal government. They were offered a buyout, an early retirement, whatever you want to call it. And I remember my parents took that. Um, Federal employees are not exempt from a possible buyout. They're not exempt from given money and being asked to take said money and leaving their job. Federal employees are not untouchable. I don't understand why they think that they are. I don't understand why these work from home people think that they are better than anyone else. There are people out there that will go into an office and work. There are a lot of college students that have degrees that are working at Starbucks right now that would be more than willing and would give anything to have a job in their field of study that these people that are government employees or work from home people that think they're better than anyone else and think they deserve this job above other people that are beating down the doors to get jobs. So I don't really understand their way of thinking here. I don't understand these protests on the street, these not my president protests. I'm pretty sure you didn't vote for Trump. So these protests are utterly pointless. You spoke your concern when you didn't vote that person into office. So that was your voice when you voted or didn't vote. That was your voice. The protest is redundant. And if you did vote for Trump, you clearly didn't pay attention to his message and his campaign. He said he was going to put Musk in charge of Doge. He said he was going to go line by line and find out where our money was going. He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine. And he said he was going to do that by negotiating. And Zelensky saying he's not going to accept any ending to the war, that's Zelensky's problem, not the US. The US is going to stop funneling money to Ukraine because Ukraine is not our problem. That is Zelensky. Zelensky is just trying to continue to get money from a turnip that we are not going to continuously give him. He thinks he has the upper hand here because he has these rare minerals. You know what? Screw that. We're not going to continuously give him money that he does not deserve. If he doesn't have the military and the funding to protect his own country, then he's not a leader. He needs to be able to do that without the US. So if he can't get into NATO or he can't get other countries to help him like he's been doing, going around peddling for money like he's been doing the last few years, the US doesn't need to be doing that. And he says that we don't have the say in negotiating a peace deal on behalf of his country. I'm sorry, we've given him over almost $400 billion. I'm pretty sure the US has some say in negotiating a peace deal, an ending to the war to Ukraine. So all of this not my president protests going on, and all this support for Canada hating on the US, to me, if you don't like it here, or you don't like the president, or you don't want Trump to be the president, then maybe you should not be here. If you prefer Canada over the United States, or you prefer Mexico over the United States, maybe you should go to Canada. Maybe you should go to Mexico. But I'm pretty sure we have a democracy, and in our democracy, we voted. And what we voted for was Trump. And if you want to protest, that's fine. But you're just kicking and screaming and pitching a tantrum is what you're doing. So sure, go ahead and not my president on President's Day, but it's not Trump Day. Again, it's President's Day. So go for it if you want to. That's totally fine. But I'm just going to share with you the not my
making a chaotic mess of our country. It's just ridiculous that these things are going unchecked.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go.
If you bought a mattress today, no judgment, but that is how thousands of our fellow Americans decided to spend their day today. It is what is being called the Not My President's Day protests. They are protesting in Portland, Oregon, in Vancouver, Washington, in Orlando, in Arizona, in Utah, in West Virginia, holding signs that say, "No kings, where law ends, tyranny begins." In Houston, chanting, "No one voted for Elon Musk." Organizers say the protests are in response to, quote, "the anti-democratic and illegal actions of the Trump administration, including what can only be described at this point as a purge across multiple government institutions, like the VA, which provides health care to America's veterans, and USAID, which provides humanitarian aid all around the globe, and the Department of Education, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the National Animal Health Laboratory Network, which, in plain English, they're the people who protect us from the next bird flu, or the one that's here now. But as the Trump administration is learning, when you use a blunt instrument instead of a scalpel or a budget plan, to suddenly and abruptly shrink government agencies, you end up kneecapping the things that are actually essential to American life and Americans and their family safety and a family's money. When you take a blowtorch to all American institutions, as the Trump administration is doing, people tend to rise up and protest. The other thing that happens, well, stuff usually backfires. Like how it backfired when the Trump administration fired nuclear safety workers whose agency oversees the nation's nuclear stockpile. And then after firing them, thought, maybe we need those guys. They are now trying to unfire them, but they can't because they're struggling to find them because they didn't.
Okay, so I just want to point out that it's MSNBC, so consider the source. But I love the way that they use buzzwords, and I love the way that they have taken "you said" and make it seem like that they just do humanitarian efforts, and they have just completely disregarded all the money that Elon Musk has found and shown that millions, billions of dollars are going to completely and utterly pointless programs so that we could push agendas onto other countries that those other countries do not believe in. And I love the way that 1,000 employees they're trying to say were fired from the VA. By the way, 1,000 in the grand scheme of things is absolutely nothing to the VA. And I would like to see the list of the 1,000 employees at the VA that were fired. Which employees from the VA that were fired? They're just using VA and employee firing. Who are these employees? Did they list them? Are they saying which ones? Were they employees that needed to be fired? Were these employees that were on the chopping block or had write-ups? Or, I mean, like, which employees from the VA were fired? I love the way that MSNBC is trying to point out these organizations and say that these are vital organizations to the federal government, but they're not saying the actual big thing, which is what you said has been spending money on, what employees are fired from the VA, what Trump and Musk are doing, and thousands of people are out protesting. 77 to 80 million people voted for Trump. So the thousands of people that are protesting, whoop-de-doo. Good for you. This Not My President's Day protesting day is, like I said, redundant. If you voted, which I guess you did, I'm not sure if you did, but if you voted and you didn't vote for Trump, that was your voice. That was your opportunity to say what you had to say and vote for who you wanted to vote for. And there was your shot. And you shot your shot and you lost. And as long as the Democrat Party continues down this path, they are going to continue to lose. So, yeah, that is that. Trump is going to continue to trim the fat. And if the Democrats don't stop realizing that we are spending money to other countries that don't need it, or maybe they do need it, but they don't need it from us because we need it. Our country needs it. Other countries do not keep needing to take our money from us. We need our money. Again, we spend more on healthcare than anybody else, and we get nothing out of it. We have more deaths with the shortest lifespan, and we spend more money on healthcare. We have big pharma. We have 40% obesity rate. Our food is higher in fats, carbs, saturated carbonation. It's absolutely ridiculous how our food is over processed. I can't tell you how many people that I know that go to Europe and on vacations, and they come back actually losing weight, even though they say they ate so much. It's because the food there is so much better and not full of just unnatural additives and preservatives like our food is. So, yeah, that is what is happening in America today. We have Americans who are just glorifying Mexico and Canada and glorifying that the fact that Canada booed the national anthem, which who cares? It's Canada. But at the end of the day, the US beat Canada in that hockey game. So why are Americans praising the fact that Canadians booed the national anthem? If you're proud of that, then move to Canada. So that's what I have to say about that. And oh, yeah, go USA because the US beat Canada. And at the end of the day, that's a win. Yeah, so again, protesting on President's Day is really not going to get you anywhere because Trump's still president and Doge is still Doge. And yeah, when Trump starts getting things really rolling and you start seeing more money in your pocket, you're going to take that money and you're going to enjoy that money. And yeah, I don't think you're going to complain when you have more money. And I don't think you're going to complain when you see interest rates go down. And you're going to shut your mouth because you're not going to say thank you. That's for sure. And you're not going to admit that you were wrong. But I'll hear a lot more silence, and so will everyone else. But enjoy your protests. And I appreciate everyone watching. And let me know if you have any comments or any questions or anything that you'd like to say. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.